Ah, the Nintendo days. You really had to be there in the late 80s and early 90s to really know how much it had taken over the world. Now, to an 80s kid, the Nintendo Entertainment System was the best gift you could ask for. I was really lucky when I got the Core Bundle for my 10th birthday in 1988. No games, no light gun, just one controller. The first game I played on it was, unsurprisingly, Super Mario Bros., which was considered to be the greatest game of all time up to that point. Movies and Stuff was my local store where I used to rent all my games, and cartoons, and wrestling VHS cassettes. In fact, it's still there at 1787 Kilbourne Avenue in Ottawa. In terms of purchasing the games, you could buy them in a lot of places, but I would always go to Consumers Distributing, maybe Zellers, but mostly Consumers Distributing, to go get them with my paper route money. I recall getting my very first games at Consumers. I never did own the light gun, though. I do, of course, own the NES Classic Mini System, loaded with some great games that can be paused and saved at any point, which is awesome. Now, my NES Classic Mini System, it's not modded, although I could do that if I wanted to. It is missing some great games on there. And here she is, my beautiful Nintendo, with two controllers that I got at the Video Game Mansion, the best place to get vintage games in the Ottawa area. Now, on to my modest collection of NES carts, and they're also my top 25 favorite games in no specific order. These are the best NES games that you can get out there that are affordable. So, I'm going to start with the three black box games that I own, with their Nintendo sleeves. These games represent the beginning of the Nintendo revolution. And by the way, they are all the 3-screw versions. I know some earlier carts had 5 screws, making them more valuable. So let's start with Kung Fu, the port of the arcade hit Kung Fu Master. It was my very first NES game that I ever bought with my paper route money, and it was cheaper than some of the other games because it's short, you can play it over and over and over again, and I did, so I have long mastered all 5 levels. Will Thomas save Sylvia from Mr. X again? I don't know. Next up is Pro Wrestling, a game that I discovered at a friend's house whose older brother wouldn't let us play, but we could watch. It was like that movie 8-Bit Christmas. Have you seen that? It's really good. Best wrestling game on the NES, way better than WrestleMania. Starman, Giant Panther, King Slender, those were my favorite grapplers, and it's still fun to play this game. It's a Mario time! Yes, the most important game on the NES. There's really no understating how massive Super Mario Bros. Was in the 1980s, from 85 and on. It changed everything. It really set the standard for platforming. Super Mario 2 was a single-player only game that was originally Doki Doki Panic, but Nintendo decided because Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Famicom was too hard for kids, well, for American kids anyway, they went with this, Super Mario Bros. 2, as the actual sequel to their greatest pack-in title of all time. You could lift stuff up, and you could shoot at enemies, and you could play as Toad and the princess this time. I got great memories of playing this game, and I still love it. Super Mario 3, it is probably the best 2-player game for the system, period. It has many mini-games. Mario and Luigi can battle, and they can fly with a raccoon tail. There's just so much game here, I've never met a gamer, young or old, who didn't love this game when they tried it. It'll always be a classic. It's a must-own for any retro gamer, or just any gamer, period. Hell, I want to play it right now. Gold! Yes, The Legend of Zelda is a very special game, long considered to be the best single-player game on the NES. I'm also partial to Mega Man 2 and Punch-Out, but that's me, It was a lot of fun, though, playing this game, discovering things. You would burn a bush or bomb a wall and find cool secrets long before the internet would tell you, even before Nintendo Power came out, the magazine. So my copy here is pretty clean, and I doubt I'll ever be selling it. Even the back is beautiful. Little to no scratches here, which can happen easily to these gold carts, especially if they're former rentals. That opening is damn iconic. Great music, of course, but what's fun for me is getting a used copy and then seeing the names of former players. Looks like Peanut didn't get very far. Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link is also a classic in my book. You could jump this time and cast spells, you can do down thrusts and all sorts of cool things, and the enemies were satisfying to defeat. Especially the bosses in the palaces, like the Thunderbird boss near the end of the game. Yeah, finishing this game was one of the greatest moments in my gaming history for sure. I also have the first and third Castlevania games from Konami. The original is such a great challenge. It took me a while to finish it, for sure. It took a lot of cracks at Dracula to beat him, especially in his final form. Number 3, though, Dracula's Curse, I thought it was better than Simon's Quest because more options for the paths that you want to take, more characters to play as, and a more satisfying ending as well. Yeah, I've been a big fan of this game since I got it in 1990 at Christmas time. Some say it's the most difficult one, and that may be true, but I really love the challenge. Up next is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Not just Punch-Out, but Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the original cartridge before the license expired. And I've got a Nintendo sleeve right next to it, because I always keep it nice and protected with that sleeve. And yeah, look at that sticker. It looks pretty good. All the stickers on all my games are pretty good, I gotta say. So yeah, they did replace Mike Tyson later on when the license expired, not because he went to jail, but because the license expired, and they replaced him with Mr. Dream, and it was the same sprite, it was just a different color and different, face and everything. But otherwise, it was pretty much the exact same game. Yeah, classic, sometimes frustrating, but very satisfying to beat. And yes, I did defeat Mike Tyson once upon a time. I believe it was 1990, well, a long, long time ago. I have not been able to beat him since. It's been a very long time. So I gotta get back to it and give it another shot. And just taking a look at the sleeve here, I also wanted to compare it to the clear protector as well. And I want to know, what do you NES collectors prefer? Do you prefer the clear plastic or the original Nintendo sleeve? What's better protection for your cartridges? Another personal favorite in the top 25 games of all time has to be Ninja Gaiden. And number 2 and number 3 are pretty good too, pretty challenging. This one's very hard, certainly. This one from Tecmo. I could not defeat this as a kid. I could not defeat it until 2016. Yeah, when I borrowed a Nintendo from a friend and I bought my own copy of Ninja Gaiden and defeated it. Amazing. I couldn't believe I did it. With a little help from the internet, it's not easy. But man, it's a satisfying game, and here it is in the plastic. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks better in the plastic? Because you can see everything. You can see the whole cartridge that way. Maybe better for selling. I think I prefer the original Nintendo sleeves just because of the nostalgia factor. I don't really know which one's really better though. Hudson's Adventure Island. Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was kind of a loose adaptation of Wonder Boy for the arcades. I could be wrong, but it was very similar to that, except this game was like a prehistoric setting. You played like this cave dude who's out to go rescue his woman, except that there's a skateboard there, so it's it doesn't really make sense, but it's a lot of fun, very nostalgic, of course. This cart, I've had a lot of trouble getting it to work. You blow on it carefully, right? No saliva in your mouth, and you blow on it a little bit. That usually gets it to work, but it takes many tries, and I don't know why. It's just, for some reason, this game has a tough time working. Next up is a very clean copy of the original Contra by Konami. Yeah, I'd love to get Super C as well, but I just have Contra for now. Super C's on the NES Classic Mini anyway. So, fantastic game. I love playing it. This game works perfectly. The 30-man code works perfectly, but I have finished it without the 30-man code. I did it one time back years ago. I haven't done it recently. It's not easy, certainly, so it's a much bigger challenge if you don't have that many lives, of course, but a great game to play, and to play with a friend. And on to the Turtles games here that I have in their clear plastic protectors. So, the first Ultra Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game is actually pretty good. I like this game. Some people complain that the bomb stage, at the dam, that was too hard. I didn't think it was that bad. Raphael and Michelangelo aren't great compared to Leonardo and Donatello in the game, but it's great that you still get the choice of 4 different characters, and if one turtle goes down, then another, one of his brothers will take his place and everything. But Donatello has the best reach, so everyone uses Donatello. Turtles 2, the arcade game, great port of the arcade classic, although the original arcade game is, obviously it's much better in terms of graphics and sound and stuff than the NES can provide, but I did like this one a lot too, also from Ultra. I don't have the third game, the Manhattan Project, because it's kind of like a clone of the second one, but I love these classics. Batman from Sunsoft is next. So in 1989, Batman was everywhere, just like the Turtles were, and with the Batman movie by Tim Burton being a huge, massive success, Batman was everywhere, and this might be the very first good movie-based game. I'm sure you'll correct me in the comments below. Top Gun was okay, but Batman, I think, was the best NES movie-related title, I thought, anyway, even though it wasn't an exact, adaptation of the movie by any stretch. But it was still great. The Joker, still can't beat him. I've never beaten the Joker. I've gotten all the way to the end of this game, to the Cathedral. Still can't beat him. And Double Dragon and Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. So, the first Double Dragon game, obviously a port of the arcade classic, beat 'em up, 2-player, awesome experience where you have to fight each other at the end, if you're still both around at the end to fight over the girl. So Double Dragon was a nice port by Trade West back in the day. I dig it, it's very nostalgic. I remember it being a rental all the time. I rented it till I finished it. And Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, I remember getting this for my birthday in 1990. And yeah, great game, great music. I think I like this second one as an NES title over the original NES title, but the arcade, both arcade games are still the best. And Track and Field 2. Now here's a game that would probably be number 25 on my list of 25. I'm not doing any order here, but it's probably my least favorite out of all the games that I own, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. It's actually very good. It's a very good game that is all about the Olympics. You pick your country and then you pick your sport. There's a couple of weird ones in there, like gangster shooting and stuff. It's like gangster alley shooting. You're like, oh, wow, okay. But yeah, there's some great stuff in there, fencing and long jumping and stuff. It's awesome. Bases Loaded, yeah! So, everyone remembers Bases Loaded. It was the best baseball game. Other than its sequels, of course. But it was a great baseball game, and much better than a lot of the basic Nintendo baseball games. There were some good ones out there in the Baseball Stars and things like that, but I thought Bases Loaded was the best game for a traditional baseball game experience, and I still love playing it to this day. I still have a good time playing it. It's not as hard as it used to be. I used to find it hard, but nowadays it's pretty easy. Top of the cartridge. All it says is Jellico, but we all know that it's Bases Loaded. Next up is Cyber Stadium Series Base Wars. Yeah, this is one of the coolest sports games of all time. My personal favorite baseball game ever, because it was a bunch of robots beating the heck out of each other. Yeah, so many different designs as well here that you could choose from in terms of the different kinds of players that you had on your team. And like half tanks and everything like that, so yeah, I thought it was awesome, and I was the king of this game. I really kicked some ass back in the day. And here's just an example of how it goes here. So when someone catches the ball and they collide, yeah, we get a fight here, which is awesome. This game is so violent. No blood or nothing, but it's just great robot violence. And yeah, just got to show that the back of this cart, strangely, it has the gold sticker, which usually comes with Zelda or something. So I don't know what's up with that. Tecmo Super Bowl. Yeah, this was the best football game on the NES as well. Loved it. I would always choose my favorite 49ers, of course, led by Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and Taylor and all those guys. Yeah, fantastic game, though. I think every Nintendo fan agrees this is the best football game on the system. Tecmo Bowl came before it, which is kind of pointless to play it if you have this one, of course. This one's a bit better, but they're both great. They're both classics. The regular Tecmo Bowl is actually on the NES Mini Classic system, but this one I had to have the cart for it. Man, so many great memories playing this game. Oh yeah, the hockey classic. The original ice hockey game for Nintendo was pretty good, but this one was the best one on the console, and it's just one of 2 NES titles that I have with the box. I have no instructions or anything like that, but I have such great memories of playing this game, playing against other people, getting so mad when the goalie would go the wrong way and the puck would just slide in. Let's take a look at the back of the box here as well, as I picked this sucker up at Game Cycle in London, so thank you guys for this boxed Blades of Steel. It's not in perfect shape by any stretch, but I love it. Yeah, so that game, I mean, I gotta show a little bit of footage. Just me even just playing it on my TV. Fantastic stuff. I mean, the colors were all wrong for the teams. They didn't have NHL licenses or anything like that back then, unfortunately. It's kind of like bases loaded that way, but still a Konami classic. Great fun in between periods as well. Great music, great action, and yeah, just hours of fun. It's, you know, I never get tired of playing this game, even if I'm losing. So great stuff. And here's the cart. Might as well show that off as well. Yeah, and that's all I got. You know, no instruction books or posters or anything else that may have come with it back in the day. But whenever this was released, like 88, I think, and maybe 89, I just remember getting this and going, yes, 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 because finally we had a hockey game. You know, like it was the first hockey game that I owned since ice hockey for Atari 2600, which was just 2-on-2 hockey. This was excellent. This was everything that you could ask for in a hockey game, and yeah. Have I talked enough about it? I think so. So let's move on to some other classics. And here it is. Congratulations, folks. If you made it to this point in the video, you have discovered my only surviving NES title in the box, complete. The box ain't mint, of course, but it's still great. I love this thing. I will never sell it. Don't ask. The box art's not great. I mean, he looks like he's holding a James Bond gun or something like a... I don't know what's going on there. It's not the best box art of all time, but looking at the back, it's, yeah, you can see shots of the game, and it just gets you all giddy with nostalgic excitement, I guess. Yeah, it's so fantastic. I don't know what this mascot of Captain Capcom or whoever that is on the back there. I don't know what that's about. So, what's in the box? Well, check it out. Captain Commando refund. I may be a little bit late if I still want to get that refund. It might be a little bit, yeah, just a little bit late. Oh man, well, clearly I never cashed it in, but that's great. This is great nostalgia to have things like this. And the instruction booklet for Mega Man 2 is in black and white, so they, you know, cheaped out on the coloring there. That's fine, whatever, you know. That's just how they came, at least up here in Canada. And Nintendo Power ads, of course. And of course, I also have the Capcom poster advertising some other cool Capcom classics in the NES library, some of which I don't think I've ever played, like California Raisins. I don't think I ever played that. Did that even come out? I don't even know. But yeah, you know, let's take a little closer look here at the Mickey Mouse game, California Raisins, Mega Man 2, of course, Bionic Commando. That was a banger of a game. That was pretty good. And Legendary Wings, Strider was a decent port, and 1943. So naturally, I have warm and fuzzy nostalgic feelings for Mega Man 2. It'll always bring me back to the past, to that first time that I did Dr. Wily Stage 1, and the dragon that pops up scared the crap out of me, because we had this big TV, and I wasn't expecting it the first time, right? Woo! Yeah, that was a shock, but still, for me, just a personal favorite game. And here are the carts, Mega Man 2. Not in the best shape, as you can see. I may get another one that's a little bit cleaner, you know, but I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, you know, people put their drinks on these things or whatever. I don't know. I didn't do it, but there's a little bit of damage there, and we'll just get another one if I have to, right? But still, you know, that image from the box art, you know, it looks like he's holding James Bond's, like, Walter P-38 gun or something, and he's shooting Quickman, and then Dr. Light is, like, on the bad guy's side or something. I don't know. It's a weird box art. Not as bad as Mega Man 1. Mega Man 3 gets it right. Mega Man 3, yeah. Love this game almost as much as I love Mega Man 2. And the box art here, as you can see just from the nice clean sticker here on the cartridge, fantastic work here on the art. They got it right. He's shooting robots with his arm cannon. Yes, you got it. You got it this time, Capcom. here is the box art for Mega Man 3. I do wish I had the box so it could match with Mega Man 2, but it's not a big deal, of course. And Mega Man 3 is a game everyone should give a try. It is harder than Mega Man 2, no question, so prepare yourself. I wish I had all the Mega Man games, of course, 1 to 6, but that's okay. DuckTales is another game I wish I had. Absolutely love that game. And Super Z is another one on my wish list right now. I'll get that one sooner or later. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. Hey, you want to know what to get me for my birthday? Give me that one. G.I. Joe, the game. It's kind of overpriced, that's why I haven't bought it yet, but it's another one I want. Captain America and the Avengers. It's okay, I just want it more for nostalgic reasons. Little Samson, I'll never be able to afford this game, but I can probably get an emulated version. Battletoads, hard as hell, but so much fun. The Brilliant Tetris, can't believe I don't have Tetris, but then again, I believe I have it on another system. And Shadow of the Ninja. This is maybe the most obscure title. Not enough people have heard of this game, and it's awesome. It's a really cool, straightforward, platforming, beat 'em up, slash 'em up, whatever you want to call it, type of NES title. And this is a game I wish I had, but again, it is pretty expensive, especially in the box. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for tuning in to my NES Top 25 Favorite NES Games Collection video. And I hope that you enjoyed all the nostalgic fun, and let me know what your favorite NES games are below. Alright guys, until next time, peace.